Alright guys, welcome back to another video. Today I'm talking about how an aircraft generates lift for dummies. My name is Forrest Munden. I'm currently 7 days away from a CFI check ride. Okay, I like to always start off with resources that I'm going to use for this. I'm using, don't know how to say this, chechnow.ski. I don't remember how I discovered this. I think it was like in a Discord channel or something, but this is like, if you ever want to just go through this, it's giant. He really lays out the aerodynamics behind lift. Okay, these guys are like top dog engineers. I'm not even going to begin to understand what their objective is here today. Is to just have a basic understanding of how an aircraft generates lift. So first and foremost, we need to understand two things. Um, so this is Bernoulli's principle. So in fluid dynamics, and don't let that confuse you, what we're talking about here when we say in fluid dynamics is simply we're just talking about airflow over a wing, all right, over an airfoil. Bernoulli's principle states that an increase in the speed of fluid occurs simultaneously with a decrease in pressure or a decrease in the fluid's potential energy. So chances are 95% of you just heard that and you're like, I honestly, I stopped listening after Benelli's principle. Okay, no problem. Let's go ahead and draw out an airfoil here, all right? So here's our airfoil. I can never draw. I don't know about you guys, but I always like suck at drawing airfoils. Like, I guess that's not too bad. Okay, we have to understand that when wind, air hits the front, the leading edge of an airfoil, right? It generates two types of pressure. All right, it generates low pressure and it generates high pressure. Now, that is step one. Okay, so step one, when air hits the leading edge of an airfoil, it splits into two different forms of pressure, low and high pressure. But how does that generate lift? Well, the difference between high and low pressure, this pressure difference, generates lift. But that's only one part of the equation. It simply starts to lift up the airfoil, starts to pull it up into the air or increase our angle of attack. But that's only step one. So what is step two? Huh, that's weird. I conveniently placed Newton's third law here, which simply states for every action there is an equal and opposite reaction. So, if object A acts a force upon object B, then B will exert an opposite, just remember this, an opposite yet equal force upon object A. Chances are you stopped listening after Newton's third law. So let's go ahead and explain this again. Here's my airfoil right here, right? Okay. Actually, let's draw it with a little higher of an angle of attack. All right. So let's say that we are currently on rotation, right? You and I just hit 55 knots. We're starting to rotate. We increased our AOA, angle of attack, to, let's say, 10 to, I don't know, 15 degrees. 15 degrees is a little high for rotation, right? But we're at 55 knots. I'm just trying to give you an idea of where this airfoil is at. Now, what is happening to this airflow, okay? We have split it into two different forms of pressure, okay? High and low. Low is here. High is here. Okay? But now, where is our wind hitting? It's hitting the bottom of the airfoil, all right? Newton's third law states that for every action, there's an equal and opposite reaction. So, if object A acts a force upon object B, so let's say that this force right here is object A, and what is going to happen to this wind now? It's going to deflect downwards. So, here's object B. What is this doing? This is going down, okay? An opposite yet equal force upon object A. Okay, so that means that because of this force is going downwards, we have an equal but opposite reaction, which is pushing simultaneously with the high and low pressure upwards. Okay, so a lot of people will just stop here with this explanation. They'll just say, how does an aircraft generate lift? Oh, high and low pressure systems on the airfoil generate lift. That's partly correct, but we have to combine these two theories together. So here's your answer. Student, how does an aircraft generate lift? When air hits the leading edge of an airfoil, it splits the air into two different pressure points, or two different pressure systems, low and high. This starts to generate lift. With Bernoulli's principle, we have relative wind hitting the bottom of the airfoil, which pushes the airfoil up into the air. And with the combination of these two theories and these forces, we are generating lift. Now, if that didn't make any sense, I'm about to confuse you a little bit further. Now, Bernoulli's principle also states that when a liquid is in low pressure, it travels faster across an object. So we said that low was up here and high was down here. I want you to pay attention to these dots right here. Okay, these dots simulate air. This blue, right, simulates low pressure and high pressure. So look what happens as we increase our angle of attack. We'll say, what do we say? Let's say 10 degrees. Okay, so we're on rotation right now. Now look at this low pressure. It is now moving faster over the top of the surface. Okay, and this is moving lower over the bottom of the surface. So what does that do? It almost, to me, looks like it's creating this pushing motion. Okay, it's almost like if I were to take your arm and I were to apply a strong downward force here and a force here, it would push your arm up, right? If I put your hand out the window and you lift your arm up, your hand is going to go up like this, and then you can also feel the air, right, hitting the bottom of your hand. You feel that downward force, which pushes your hand upwards, okay? One more thing here. Look at how the low pressure travels faster over the top of the airfoil instead of over the bottom. Look how slow that is, right? This is just blowing past it. But now, let's increase our angle of attack to 18 degrees. We know that our critical angle of attack is 17 degrees. This is still moving relatively fast, okay? But look at this. It's starting to slow down now. And pay attention to the low pressure and the high pressure, okay? Watch what happens. Look at these little vortices starting to happen. This is a stall. So look at all this air is kind of getting confused right here. It's kind of just starting to create little vortices and just hang out here. And this low pressure will start to slow down. And then you'll see these pressures start to kind of get confused a little bit, okay? So what is this showing you? This is showing you that the low pressure is starting to slow down, and the high pressure is starting to, well, it looks like it's maintaining about the same speed. But now look at all this. Look at all that air that's just kind of getting all, look at that. Look how much that, this is a stall, okay? The low pressure on the top of the airfoil is no longer able to maintain its velocity. All right, use this website, guys. It's really helpful. Here's another video right here. Okay, look at that. Airfoil, the air hits the leading edge, and just want to let you know that anything can generate lift. For example, this plate here. Okay, this is like almost like your hand. You're putting your hand out the window. As you increase your angle of attack, right? We're increasing our angle of attack of the hand out the window. Look at these upward forces that are being generated, right? And it's pushing on the bottom of the plate, and it's causing our plate or our hand or our airfoil to move upwards. All right? Hope that helped.